Welcome to this another exciting tutorial, and in this tutorial we are going to look at how to create your first PHP script. Now if you are a beginner in this particular area of PHP, this is one of the tutorial that can really help you to start off your journey in learning PHP as a language. Therefore, in this particular area we are going to look at the steps that one should follow and what are the things that you are supposed to do in order for you to execute your first PHP script, your maiden PHP script. Now in this particular case there are 3 steps that you need to follow. Now the first thing that you need to do is to write your PHP script in the text editor. Now you should have your text editor running. So you can see I'm using VS Code. My VS Code is running, and also I've turned on the WAMP server. So I have got the text editor running, and also my WAMP server is running at the background. Now after doing that, you are supposed to ensure that all the PHP code is supposed to be embedded inside these tags, the PHP tag. So how will you tell that this is a PHP tag? A PHP tag is supposed to start with an angle bracket, that is the left angle bracket, and then you have a question mark and then PHP. You just write the word PHP in small letters or in capital letters, there's no problem. Now after doing that, you have got a word. For example, like for now we want just to echo. Echo basically means display. After you have done all the statements, you have written all the statements that you want, you make sure that you have the question mark that you used at the beginning, and then you have the closing angle bracket. So this is the left angle bracket, and this is the right angle bracket, which means the end of the PHP script. Now there is something that you need to know in this particular case, that every statement that you write in PHP should also end with a semicolon. That is very important for you to be able to understand. Now something else that you need to understand is that PHP script is put inside the body tags of your program. For example, this is an HTML program, but if you want to embed now PHP inside the HTML code, then you should ensure that it should be contained inside the body tags. That is very important for you to know. Now the second thing, you are going to run this program, you are supposed to save your document, or you are supposed to save your PHP as .php. It doesn't matter if you are writing in HTML. In order for it to be looked at as a server-side language, or to be looked at as a server-side script, you need to ensure that you have got .php file extension. Now it will be perceived that it needs to be running in the web server, and therefore the necessary measurements are going to be put in place to ensure that it runs in the web server. Okay, now the next thing that you need to do is to place that particular file that you have created, that example.php. you should ensure that it is placed inside the root directory. Now we have got different types of WAMP servers, like what I said in my previous tutorial on how to set up the environment for PHP. If you missed that tutorial, kindly go to my YouTube channel and check that particular video. Now every time you want to execute a PHP script, it must be placed inside the root directory. Now the root directory, we have got different types of root directory. If you go to XAMPP, you'll be using htdocs. htdocs. So you can see it is here, it is written here, htdocs. Okay, but if you are using WAMP, the one that I'm using, it's supposed to be contained inside what we call the www. That is our root directory. Now you ensure that you have embedded, or you have placed that particular file inside the root directory. We are going to do an example of the same. Then you are supposed to run it in the browser. You will not be able to see the response unless you run it in the browser. And how do you run it in the browser? You run it by typing such kind of a command. You write http://localhost. Localhost basically means that this particular application is running on your local machine. Then you put the name of that particular file in front. Then after that you just press enter, and then you'll be able to have your PHP script running. So we are going to do that, and then we see how it is going to work. Now we jump to our our VS Code. So in the VS Code, I just want to write a very simple PHP file. So what I'm going to do, I click on a file and then I go to new file. Yeah, so I've said that I want to save this as example.php. So I'll just type there example. Okay, I just type there example.php. Yeah, okay, so let me just type it again, example.php. example.php. The moment I just do that, I click here to create that file. Yeah, I click there to add the file. Okay, so I'm supposed to define where the file is going to be stored. So basically you just go to this PC. So I'm going to this PC. So if you are in the Windows environment, you just go to this PC, and then when you go to this PC, you go to your local disk C where the operating system is installed. Then you go to program files. Yeah, program file. No, you go to worm server. So you go to worm server is here. So you double click on this folder, and then you can be able to see our www root directory there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to double click on it, and then I'm going to store it outside. Okay, I can just decide to store it here, or I can decide to create a folder. I can create also a folder. Maybe I can click on create folder, so that all these files are going to be contained in that particular one. So I'm going to say just example. Okay, I can just say example. Maybe I can just say PHP stuff. Yeah, so that is what is the name of that particular file, PHP stuff. So then I open it, and then I create file. So when I do that, you realize that that file is going to be created for me. Yeah, so let's wait for it to load. Boom. So there we have it. The file has already been loaded, and therefore just continue typing our PHP, our first maiden PHP script. So what you're going to do, you just have the angle bracket, and then you have the doc type. Doc type HTML. Then you have got your head, or HTML. Let's have HTML. Yeah, you can just say lang is equal to that language there, and then you press enter. Then you have the head. Okay, then you have the head there. So inside the head you can just say title, and just say that just say here that my first PHP. Okay, then you go to body, you create body tags. Yeah, where we are supposed to embed now the PHP. Yeah, so enter. Then you just have that angle bracket, left angle bracket, and then you have that question mark, then PHP. So then you go to our next one, then you just type there echo. Then you can decide to use a double quotation and then say my first PHP code. So that is the text that is going to be displayed. You put the semicolon at the end, then you have the closing you have the question mark and then the closing angle bracket. Yeah, so this is exactly how the PHP is supposed to look like. So how do I run this PHP? Make sure that you save, Ctrl+S. After you do that, you go to our worm server. Of course it's already running. So we said in our tutorial here, or in our area here, that you are supposed to write this. Yeah, so you're supposed to, let me just copy this here, and then I go to my web browser. Already I've said worm server is running, so make sure that your worm server is also running. Then you go to your web browser. So I'm using Chrome as my web browser here, so it is loading up. Okay, so I'll just type there localhost https then localhost, and then we have got the file that we saved this. So if we could have just saved in that folder, in that particular folder of www outside, yeah, it will just type here example.php directly, but since it is inside the folder that we just created called php stuff, so you need to make sure that you use that, yeah, php stuff. Then you can even decide now to be explicit which file are you looking for. So if we do this and then you allow it to load up, so it is going to load up that folder, and then it is going to give us the output that we need. So it is loading up that file, so it has gone to that folder and it is going to access that file for us. So let's wait up and then see how it is going to respond. So it is giving me an error here. It is telling me that the site can't be reached, so there is a problem somewhere. Let's see, fix it together. Yeah, so there is a problem here. Okay, so I've tried to rework something out here, and then I think the program is running perfectly. Basically what I did is that I removed that particular file from this particular folder first. Okay, I just copied the file, copied the file, and then I placed it outside here. So I just pasted it outside here, and then you can see the file is already existing. So they are asking me replace or skip, so I'm just going to say replace. And then after I've replaced or I've placed it outside here, because it's just a simple file, we just wanted to do something very simple so that you can go to understand how to run this. Then you just go to your local host, you just type whatever we had already typed. You can just type there localhost then stroke example.php. Then you run it. The moment you run it, it is going to echo this particular statement based on what you had already written in our VS Code. So you can go to our VS Code here. This statement is the one that is being displayed, my first PHP code. So if I can make some changes, let me just make some little changes here and then see if this is actually working correctly. So I just want to say that I just want to change some statement inside here. Let me try to put my name. Just say that my first, you can just say that hello there, I enjoy coding PHP. Okay, so that is the statement that I want to be I want it to be displayed, just to see if actually it is giving me the right output. So I just go here and I try to refresh. The moment I just refresh, you can see the file has just been updated, and therefore everything is running correctly. So in this particular case, we have just gone through various steps that you need to follow every time you want to design, every time you want to run a PHP script. We have talked about writing the program or the PHP script in our text editor. So this is our text editor. We have explained how you can be able to go about it in terms of where you are supposed to write the PHP and how you are supposed to display statements in PHP. Then you have also gone through the aspect of where to place it. Yeah, where do you place the PHP script? And then finally we have been able to see how you can be able to run a PHP script. So therefore you just need to type the localhost and then you say stroke, and then you give us the file name, and then you just press enter on your keyboard in order for you to execute that. So hopeful that you have been able to understand on how to run your first PHP, and you have successfully run your PHP code. Congratulations for that milestone that you have just been able to make. So keep following my YouTube channel or subscribe to my YouTube channel, so that when I create the next PHP tutorial, you will be informed. And therefore we are going to learn about a very important area, that is the basic syntax of PHP and all the things that are included in PHP. Keep in touch, turn the notification button on, and therefore we'll meet in our next tutorial. Bye bye for now.